Yo, what's good, Desi Hip Hop fam? You are tuned in to the Unfiltered podcast live on Facebook and YouTube. I am your host, DJ Raf, and today we have an exclusive special plan for the episode. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about our sponsored partners, Applause Artists, Applause. The brand's name is Applause, but you should go follow them on Instagram and Facebook with their tag applause.artist. This is a new startup who is helping live events like ours and live hosts and live artists who are going live on social media. It's helping them monetize their live streams. So if you haven't heard about Applause yet, you should go and figure them out right now. Okay. Moving forward, today's episode is really special. I'm really excited about it. A producer that I've been watching for the past couple of years closely from Bombay. He's joining us today, and his name is AAKASH Ravikrishnan. I want to introduce AAKASH to the show. Yo, welcome to the show, bro.
What's good? What's good, my friend? How's it going, man? How's it going? Man.
Pretty good, bro. How have you been? I just wanted to let the audience know that, Akash is not only a dope producer from Bombay, but he's an Emmy-winning producer as well. And, his created his album last year called Overseas featured like numerous amazing artists from the whole Indian hip-hop scene. Hell yeah. Yeah, there it is behind him. That Overseas banner. Yeah, I, in fact, got to go to the launch show for that album. And it was a album celebration event or something like that. And it was amazing, And since then, he's worked with many other artists like Raftar. And he continuously works with many talented artists like Loka, Nasty Ninja, and many others, man. So, I'm really happy to have you on the show, bro. How are things going with you?
Everything is going well, man. Recently, I've just been, I've been trying to push every day. I've actually been exercising every day. It's kind of a new thing for me, So I think with this new mindset, if I can work out and be healthy, I have a healthy mind and healthy ears. I'll have healthy mixes and healthy beats. So that's what I'm trying to do these days.
Hell yeah! I'm reading a comment here from Desi Hip Hop, from our team. Actually, Desi Hip Hop sponsored that launch event, and we sure did. It was fun.
Yeah. Man, that show was crazy. I remember it was a celebration, and I had a drummer. I had like a live drummer and myself. We were playing guitar, so it was very new. You know what I mean? It was.
Right.
Yeah, the show was dope. Like, just a little backstory about my stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm from Kuwait, so I'm Indian and everything, but I'm from Kuwait. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised in Kuwait, and I'd gone to the United States to study audio engineering.
Yeah.
And that was in 2008, 2012. And then after I finished, I was lucky enough to get 1 year of work authorization. You know how you get that stuff? Mm-hmm. If you're a immigrant and shit, or student visa and stuff. Yeah. So after I did that, I had 1 year to find a H1 job, but that was really difficult to do in the States, especially for an audio engineer. It's very difficult.
Right.
So I just kept working, freelancing, doing a bunch of interns until I worked at a TV station. And at the TV station, actually, some of the projects I got on, out of those, one of them was nominated for an Emmy, and I was the only one. So it was really cool to get the nomination. And after that, my visa ran out, so I had to leave. And I've never lived in India before, so I've always lived since, because I was born in Kuwait. So right. I now live in India. I've been in India for 2 years now, and almost 2 years. It's crazy. But yeah, man. But nice. It's funny how the universe works. God works in strange ways. Sometimes He'll close some doors for you, but open a whole universe for you. You know what I mean? So,
right. That's right. And how has that little transition been for you? Moving to India as a new experience for you, since you didn't grow up there.
Well, growing up, my parents always listened to all kinds of music. You know what I mean? So there's Hindi music being played in the house, and Indian, we a lot of times on TV, you know, we'd watch ZTV and Star Plus, so I still get like I know what it's like, you know, like if it's still
Right.
DC across the world.
Right.
But like living in India is like I've come to visit every now and then when I was a kid, but like actually living it's a whole different scene, and it actually like you take things for granted, you know what I mean? Because like when I was in the United States, like it was way different, you know. It's just like the lifestyle, the way people act, the way people think, and you just have to adapt. Because if you don't adapt, you will just get forgotten about or washed up, and so that's the way. Like, musically, it's been different as well. Because like I used to make a lot of jazz beats, and like I'm a jazz musician, so I play the keys, the drums, the bass, and stuff. And like in the States, I used to play in a funk band. I used to play in church, and it was very like very musical. Every single day was like live music. I was doing something. Like all my peers were musicians, always doing sit-ins and jazz shows every night. But in India, it's not as progressive yet. You know what I mean? So that's I see that not as a limitation, but as like an opportunity. You know what I mean? To help spread the coolness of jazz and hip hop. You know what I mean? Or continue spread it. And then like when I came to India, I actually didn't know that hip hop was a thing. I was like, I was afraid that no one was gonna like hop onto my hip hop beats. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to switch up my music. But then turns out like there's a home, you know, it's a whole new world that I didn't. Crazy,
right?
And it's actually like the first 6 months like that I was here in India, I didn't know anyone. I didn't go out. I didn't have too many friends. I was just making music every day, and like I made a whole jazz album. And as soon as I was gonna release a jazz album, I watched Gully Boy. There was this movie called Gully Boy,
right?
And in the movie, yo, is a crazy like Indian hip hop. That's really dope, you know. And while I was in the movie, I found out about MC Altaf, like because I saw him on screen, and I sent him a message on Instagram. And like I think the day after the movie, he texted me like, "Yo, man, send me beats." So it's crazy.
That's
and then,
sick.
like, I sent him like 6 or 7 beats, like, and next week he was like, "Yo, man, I want to come to your place. Let's record." I'm like, "That's dope." Like, I had only seen one video of his. I remember I was sitting on the couch and like I had seen Hitman featuring Loka. I mean, Loka featuring Altaf, like one of like their early songs produced by Crazy Vibe. You know, Crazy Vibe at the time, like he was a producer that I had known of, and like he was making a bunch of like crazy music, you know, and like when I heard that music, I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I have a home over here. There's like a chance for me over here. You know, I just wasn't exposed to it yet.
Right.
So as soon as I was exposed to it, I just started shooting my shots. And,
nice.
Altaf over with D'Evil actually, and it's funny. So like I'd send him like 6 beats, and when Altaf came over, he's like, "Yo, man, I got this. I wrote something to one of your beats." Like, and he spit it in front of me, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool and stuff." But I kept playing him some beats, and actually, when they're on the way to my house, I started making like a beat. I was like, "Okay, cool. Let me just make a beat." And it's funny. After listening to a bunch of beats, I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, let me just play this new one I just made." And turns out it WAZAN HAI, and it's crazy how it just happened. Like they recorded it on the spot. It was magical. It was a really magical session. Crazy stuff.
Man, that's awesome. You know, for the audience members who's watching here, you know, thank you for joining us. First and foremost, thank you. I appreciate you. Drop those comments below. You know, so today our plan is we're actually gonna play. Akash is actually gonna recreate the beat for WAZAN HAI. He was explaining WAZAN HAI, but before we get into that, you know, beat production, that side of awesome things, I want you guys, you know, producers who are watching, I want you to drop comments, producer questions, you know, things, anything that you want to know about production, curiosity, or any questions about Akash, please drop them in the comment section.
Ask me what my opinion is.
Hell yeah. And also wanted to mention that you guys see this little QR code under my name. That's the tag. There's a QR code for applause. So, you know, you could just pull up your, you know, QR app. Nowadays, Android and iPhones, I believe, have a QR thing. Like there's a button to scan QR codes. So like just hit that button and you can scan this thing right here and support this show and the artists on it. So, you know, I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate applause being here with us and the Unfiltered podcast. Okay, Akash, you mentioned quite a bit about, you know, your jazz past, you know what I mean? I wanted to ask you real quick, what inspired you into jazz? Like what brought that, you know, what sparked that little interest, that curiosity towards jazz and music as a whole?
Well, towards music, I would have to say it's because of my parents, you know, because like my dad and mom would always be playing music, like always throwing parties at the house. You know, in Kuwait, like there was no discos in Kuwait. You know, you can't go out to the club in Kuwait.
Right.
It's a Islamic country and everything's really strict. So they used to throw house parties, and at the house parties, you would hear music from the 80s, from the 60s, from the 50s, even all the way
Right.
to like the 90s. Because I was born in '93, so I was hearing like all that music, and it was all genres. You know, it's like a fusion of like disco with funk. Like I remember hearing like a lot of Kool and the Gang, a lot of Police. Like these are all like my dad's favorite music. So like I just soaked that up. And then my mom also used to listen to like Engelbert Humperdinck. That's like one of her favorite singers. Like this guy from the '60s. But like it's just a big range. You know, Tom Jones. Like
Nice.
so like I got like a big range of like white music and black music and Latino music and Hispanic music. Everything, just all music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at the same time, like my grandmom, she used to be a trained Indian classical singer, Carnatic singer, I think.
Wow.
And I didn't really like. She used to sing me like nursery, not even nursery rhymes, but like songs, you know, in Tamil and stuff. And like
Yeah.
it was really cool because now I feel like I actually resonate to those melodies and things like that. So I guess it's been building, it's been brewing from a very young age. You know, it's crazy.
Nice. And so, and then you learned a bunch of these instruments, like at what age? In fact,
Yeah,
first,
man. Like
what are the instruments? Because you kind of like went through that list real fast. I want you to like tell us like which instruments do you play? You know, because that's super interesting.
Yeah, man. So like I think my brother was the first person to have like an instrument in the house. He had like a guitar, and he used to play that. And I used to think like, because you know my brother played it, so I also wanted to do that. You know, so I used to like.
Right.
But for some reason I couldn't play the guitar. Like maybe my fingers were too small. For some reason it just wasn't clicking. So I asked my dad for a drum set actually, and he was nice enough to gift me one. I think it was Christmas or birthday. I don't know what it was, but I think it was my birthday. Like it was like a like a starter kit, and like I had like drum kit. That was at like 11 years old, I think, or 10 years old or 11 years old. And
Nice.
I was playing drums until I was 16. Actually, I was playing in Battle of the Bands. You know, playing Green Day songs.
Right.
Playing a lot of funk, playing like everything. But then after like my second year, I started to get really good. After my first year itself, like I just felt like trying to get more technical and technical and technical. So I started playing death metal drums, like heavy metal, like crazy Metallica, Dream Theater, As I Lay Dying, Children of Bodom. You know, like a bunch of music. You know, so like it didn't stop at like the music that my parents were listening to. You know, I took it to like the new realms of rock and hip hop, you know, because at the time like rock was like the mainstream music, you know what I mean? Everyone was listening to Creed and All Bridge, and you know, like cool indie bands like Pearl Jam. Who else is there? Like Godsmack, you know, bands like that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I was completely into that vibe as well. And then my buddy Karan actually we used to play like Dream Theater covers like every day. Like I used to play a full Mike Portnoy album, like full albums. I used to like practice that every day. It's crazy. And like I did that until I was 16, and then I joined before I used to play in a band as well in Kuwait. Like we were like one of the first bands like to have live shows, you know, because like in Kuwait it's really difficult to have live shows. At the time, like dancing was not allowed. I still think dancing is not allowed. Like you're not like it's illegal to dance at shows. So like or it's like not like it's frowned upon, you know, because it promotes mingling of the single people. I don't know, who knows. But like at the time it wasn't too like appreciated, but so we had to find loopholes to play live. So we formed a cover, like we were a metal band, but we like learned a bunch of like Eric Clapton songs, Michael Jackson songs, you know, like Prince songs, like just like a bunch of pop music. And we used to play that at Applebee's. Our venue was Applebee's every Sunday.
Nice. Man, that's interesting. You know, we have a lot of similarities in our backgrounds. Like, I actually grew up in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Like during the times you were in Kuwait, I was in Riyadh, and it was the same kind of experiences. You know, house parties and me and my friends with the band. You know, listening to Metallica, and you know, I wasn't a guitarist, but my buddy was, and he used to just sit there all day in his room, just play those guitar solos, and we used to do all the similar type of things. And I used to go to an international school, you know, how over there it's like international. So I used to go to international school, and that's where we performed and stuff, you know, which is like unheard of in that country. It's crazy, man.
It's like when I was playing, I got tired of like drums, and I wanted to play something melodic. And like you can't really make songs on drums. You know what I mean? You can just play drums. So like I thought I started playing the guitar after that, pretty much. Like
Nice.
Guitar Hero is a game I was playing a lot. Guitar Hero, like a lot of Guitar Hero. Like I was expert, dope. Like I'm the G at that shit. Or at least I was. And like you know, like, well, you should play a real guitar, you know. And like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can. So like, I tried that, you know. So I started playing every day. I used to skip my homework. I wouldn't do homework. I would just sit on my bed and play every day. I like, even now, like my left hand nails, I don't have nails on my left hand, but my right hand is like really long nails. But I still play. You know what I mean? It's like it's like a thing now. You know, it's part of my like guitar. Like I don't know if you see it, it's in the back. It's part of myself. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So, like, I sat on the bed and just played every day. And I used to actually listen to trance music at the time. I wasn't even listening to hip hop or rock when I was like playing guitar. I was listening to lots of trance music, like Above and Beyond, like Armin van Buuren.
Yep.
Ali and Fila from Egypt, like like progressive.
Love it.
You know, like crazy music. And I used to play like guitar, and then eventually I got pretty good at fingerstyle guitar. I started playing Andy McKee, like fingerstyle covers and stuff like that.
Right.
While I was doing drum band, and I graduated, went to college, and started playing keys. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I love all this, you know, all these experiences that you've been sharing with us, and your skills, you know. And I know, like, I understand music, and I know that a jazz, you know, drummer will always be a lot more skilled than any other rock drummers, etc. Just because like jazz requires that improv skills, you know, that the little it's
and like rock music came from jazz music too. You know, like everything came from jazz.
Everything came from jazz. You're right. It's the source of so many hip hop songs, so many samples from jazz songs. So that's amazing. But okay, so let's move forward. All right, let's start this screen share thing, because I will ask you questions. You know, all these questions all these things you've shared with us, I will go back into it. You know, while you're working, I'll try to bother you just a little bit. Okay, so that's you right here. Okay, so let's share with the audience. What are you using? What's your software? What do you like to use for production?
So actually, I started off on Cubase. I don't know if anyone knows Cubase. I used to start. That's what my first DAW actually was FL, but I tried it for like twice, but I couldn't understand how to do it. So I switched to Cubase because my friend had the illegal crack for it, and like I didn't know how to install it, so he installed it on my computer, and I was using Cubase 5, and I think I started doing that in like 2006. 2006. And I still have that computer, and I still use Cubase. Still use Cubase 5 for the past, like, I don't know, how old am I? 26. So the past 10 years, I've been using Cubase. But
wow.
Recently, my computer is like it's dying. You know, I can't like I only use it for like emergencies. So I got a new computer, and on that computer, I couldn't find Cubase anymore because the Cubase 5 they don't make that version for the Mac anymore. So like I switched to Reaper. It's like this other DAW, and you can customize it. You know, I made it look like Cubase. If you can see, it's got the same blue colors. It's got the mute and solo buttons like Cubase. Like everything looks a lot like Cubase. Right. So it just makes it kind of easy for me, and you can customize everything on this with this useful actions list. It's really nice. You know, it just make a bunch of things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you've been using Cubase for the longest time.
You guys trying to hear this beat?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, before you do any of that, you know, like I want to keep asking you questions that are like relevant to those who want to learn about production as well, you know? So kind of quickly explain to me what we're seeing here on the screen.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Each of these are layers. Kind of tell me a little bit about these layers and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. So I think my camera, 1 second, my phone made that, so I'm just plugging that shit in. But so these layers are just different tracks. So I have, like, if you see on the left, you can see, I don't know if you can read it, but I got the kick here, I got another kick, I got a clap, I got a sizzle, I got a rim shot. You know, I got like a bunch of different sounds in here, and it's just like different tracks. And then all the way down here, I have my vocals. You know, my vocals are down here. It's just a beat, you know. But like, let's see, like, Cubase is good because you can you can work linearly. It's not like FL. FL you got to make these patterns, which is good for some kind of production. But Cubase, I mean, Reaper is good as well. You can do a bunch of shit. It's like Pro Tools and Logic combined. It's pretty much really customizable as well.
That's it.
But
so which layer do you usually start with? Which layer do you start with usually?
So usually I start beats. I make I make melodies. So like I'm a very melodic person. It's like a blessing and a curse because I wish I could make non-melodic stuff, but I've been trained so much to be melodic that like everything I do just has a melodic sound. I guess that's my sound. But so I started with like at the time when I was like making this beat, when they were on the way to my house, when Altaf and D'Evil were on the way to my house.
Yeah.
I was watching Game of Thrones like crazy. The last season was out. You know what I mean? The last season, like where like Khaleesi like he dies. That whole spoiler alert. It's about time you watch it.
Right.
But like I really enjoyed the medieval sound. Like I really like that medieval kind of vibe. So like start off with these flutes. Like that was the first thing I was going with. Like you know what I mean?
Yo, I love these flutes.
And like I wanted to get it like I wanted to make like a trap beat, but out of like a medieval trap beat. That was what I was thinking. Like how would Game of Thrones make a trap beat? You know what I mean? So that's pretty much like the idea I had, like the vision I had. So I started playing these these flutes on the keys on the keyboard. And I added a lower one. This one. Low one sounds like this. Yeah,
yo, that's sick.
It's
So
just basic like.
Yeah.
It's just like a basic line. I just repeated that, and I duplicated that, put an octave lower, put it later on in the song, so you add that impact later, and like that. When I had that, like I felt like a little like I felt the vibe, but I wanted to add some bass. But like if you think about the medieval times, how do you like? What would they do for bass? Like they either have some horns or like clarinet or oboe or like bassoon or something like that. So I actually went with an oboe for this like sound. Playing what it sounds like. It's like a spooky
that's
sound.
sick. It's ominous. It's like a scary feeling, like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like the medieval dragons are on its way. Yeah, so this is really interesting, man. So the birth
that's how I felt when I had that layer going. I was like, yo, it sounds really spooky.
Yeah, man, it's really interesting, man. So the birth of WAZAN HAI was because you got inspired by Game of Thrones and that whole feel of it, right? So that's really cool, man. I want to give a shout out to all the viewers as well at the same time. There's a more than 100 people watching us live on YouTube, whole other people on Facebook. I don't have the numbers for Facebook, but like I really like all the comments coming in. So yeah, guys, keep dropping some comments. I'm reading some things here. Stupid Beats asks, did you learn guitar all by yourself? Yeah, did you learn guitar by yourself, bro? Like just by trial and error? Is that it?
Yeah, I actually did. I learned it really fast, actually, in a span of like 2 weeks. I went on to Google and I typed in guitar chords. And the first thing I went to is howtotune-a-guitar.com. And there it teaches it just you get a tuner. So I learned how to tune like very easily. I would just like play that in tune like. So I think that's the first step, because a lot of people I know, they're too afraid to tune their guitars. And like, if you're afraid to touch your guitar, then don't play the guitar. You get over that fear. You'll never be good if you're afraid of the like. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's no fear. Just go for it.
Facts.
So like, I started to like get the tuning.
Nice.
And then after that, like, I Googled basic guitar chords and A through G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I just studied them. Open A is A. B is like that. C is like C, G. I just like did that all the time. And in a week, I knew them. I was able to play any song because all the songs are just. I was able to play along to any song I wanted by that point. So I just found songs I liked. I just played the guitar to them. If I didn't know how that was, there was this website called ultimateguitar.com. You could see tabs. And guitar tabs is a different notation of it's a different way to read guitar music as opposed to sheet music. Tablature is it shows you the fretboard positions, like what fret, what number, it's like a numerical way of describing how you finger positions on the guitar. So anything that was complicated that I didn't know, I would find the tabs for that and do it slowly and learn it that way. That's how I learned difficult songs and stuff. But
nice.
Yeah, it was really fast. Within 6 months, it's pretty simple. It's very simple. You just got to do it.
Yeah. The answer to most problems is just Google it and just do it. So that's cool. That makes a lot of sense. Cool, bro. So with this beat, yeah.
So where was I? I was on this.
Okay, real quick. I'm hearing some feedback. I'm hearing myself as well. Wonder if the mic on your computer is unmuted or something.
Should I leave and you bring it back in?
No, I think the computer one, the other one, not the phone one. I think that one needs something. I'm not sure what. Because so when I talk, I can hear myself again, but I can hear it from your.
I hear that. Yeah, I mean, I can hear it on my side.
Okay. Is your condenser mic unmuted? Maybe.
Yeah, we're on the same setup as everything is.
Okay, everything is basically the same. Let me try something.
That might be feedback.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, is that better?
No. So we're hearing ourselves. We're both hearing ourselves from your the user account that's logged in from your computer. The one with the avatar. But now it's gone. Okay, it's gone. So I guess that's good. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, try playing something real quick. Yeah, let's hear that beat.
Yeah.
क्या बोलते धवल भाई?
Straight up. है ना?
हाँ भाई.
The evil gone.
Is it all sounding good?
It's sounding good. Yeah, you could up that volume on your audio on the beat as well, like on your computer. You could up it. It's good.
Good to know. But yeah, so I was definitely on this medieval vibe. That's kind of where I was going. And actually, I do that for a lot of my beats. Making beats is not about the work you do; it's about what you do outside of making beats. If you live a boring, if you don't have a lot of influences, you're not gonna have anything to put into what you're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the more external influences you have, the better your stuff is gonna be. So I watch. I don't watch a lot of TV. I usually watch tutorials and lessons and online school shit. But when I do watch TV, I watch some Netflix and I watch some TV series that I have to binge because I get so tired of watching the TV series that I want to make beats. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm kind of an extremist in that way. If there's anything, I do it so much I get fed up of doing. I do the bad thing so much that I get fed up of doing the bad thing. That's how I leave the bad habit. You know what I mean? It's not a good way to live, but musically at least, I watched a lot of Game of Thrones and I was so tired of Game of Thrones. I was I'm wasting my life. Why am I watching TV? It's a waste of life. But then afterwards, I made a beat because of the Game of Thrones. So I started doing that more. So whenever I do that more. So I started watching Narcos, and then after Narcos, I started making a lot of Spanish inspired beats. You know what I mean? Or cool guitar beats, or cool kind of bossa nova style, or get some influences. That's where beats become good.
That's awesome. You know, that's a major key right there. You know, like I'm gonna keep track of all the major keys you've been dropping, and you've already dropped like at least 3 or 4 keys that I can remember. But one of the major keys that you mentioned is like make sure your life is full, like you're experiencing a lot of different things, so that it can influence your music and your production. One question that Ravikrishnan asked,
Yeah.
I wonder if he's your cousin, but he asked like how much of your music is inspired from your college music and theater work.
It's OG. By my college music and theater work, actually nothing is inspired by my theater work because I don't really enjoy theater music or musicals. Like
Cool.
theater stuff is cool and all, but like it's kind of boring as well. I mean, not for me as well. I did a lot of work in it. I'm a sound designer. I'm a theater sound designer. I do like I've done musicals and plays and all that stuff, but I'd rather do music. Like,
yeah, makes sense. Shout out to Karan Kanchan as well from Gully Gang watching this thing. Thank you for watching. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
No, yeah, like but college definitely helped because in college I played a lot. Like I lived in a house with musicians and engineers and like mechanics and luthiers. Like the house was crazy that I lived in. Like my best friend Eric, he used to build guitars from scratch. Like he used to like he had the wood. He went to the shop. He went to the wood shop. He carved. He used to make the measurements. He used to humidify the wood. He built a wood dehumidifier in the backyard, like out of wood. You know, crazy guy. He has a crazy brain, and now he's working for Fender. You know, so like everything he did in college just for fun is now it's.
That makes
But
sense.
like yeah, I stayed with him. Then another buddy of mine, he used to work on all analog gear. He was a big analog head. So like, anytime I would do anything digital, like musically, I would get shunned. You know, because he was like such an analog guy, and it was dope because I got to see that side of purity. You know what I mean? It was so amazing, and I became an analog guy. That's why my first keyboard that I had was a Fender Rhodes as opposed to a MIDI keyboard. I didn't want to buy like a regular piano. I want to get like a Fender Rhodes because it's real, you know, it's like it's analog. So I had like a Fender Rhodes and a Juno 6, and I used to make all my music on that. So like all the like hip hop music, like the beat that I made for Raftar, like Feeling You on his album, that beat was made like in college, like 4 years ago on those old analog gear, you know, from 1976, 78 and 84.
Nice. That's sick.
But yeah, it's crazy how, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like to answer my dad's question, yes, like my college definitely, you know, influenced my music today, but not so much theater. Not so much theater.
So shout out to your dad, bro. Thank you, Dad, for watching the show, man. Like, thank you. Your support means a lot to us kids. Yeah, bro. You can continue with the beat production. Quick shout out to all the producers joining, man. Groove Beats, thank you for joining. Karan Kanchan, Stupid Beats, thank you. I love your name, Stupid Beats. It's a very cool name.
Man, my favorite name is MC Hatbeespill.
You're right.
A rapper here in India. He's an up and coming. That's a crazy name. MC Hatbeespill. But anyway. Yeah, so we
MC Altaf D'Evil Bombay शहर से
क्या बोलते धवल भाई
straight up है ना
हाँ भाई
The evil कौन नंबर ये बंदा सोबर में करता दो बंदा कोबर है मुंह जो मन है वो करता लोफर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता मेरी बुराई ऊपर आएगी तो भाग जा.
That's like a basic like 808 that I added, which is like I added this is the main 808, and I added like 808 effects for like some sub. So it's two 808s in the same. It's the same 808, but you know one's going to an FX chain. It sounds like this.
ये बंदा सोबर में करता दो नंबर का धंधा कोबर है मुंह जो मन है वो करता लोफर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता मेरी बुराई.
And can you share with us a little bit the effects that you added to that 808?
Yeah, so it's just like it's like sub 808. So like whatever the 808 was, I'm just adding more frequencies to it on lower. So they pretty much sound the same. One has a little bit more low information, and then when you put the two together, it sounds more beefier as opposed to just the 808 on its own. This is a stem session, so I don't really have the effects loaded up. It's already on the track. But I can explain what the effect was. You know, it's the plugin I actually used was a Maserati bass.
Maserati bass.
It's a Maserati bass plugin.
Nice.
Yeah, so like that's the 808 that I was going with, and then like usually when I make the beat, I usually go for like I add the clap, then I add the hi-hat, then I add the, I started with the clap and hi-hat. So let's see what we got. We got this. Like a nice little loop.
गर्दन से जोड़ूंगा कीड़ा करूंगा पीड़ा भी दूंगा पीड़ा तो सुला के ढीला कर दूंगा शैतानी बुद्धि परेशानी खुद की पहचानी सपने करेगा मैं कुछ भी पीछे नहीं देखने का रास्ते पे चलते जा जैसे तू पलटेगा वैसे कुछ.
You know what I mean? It's got that it's got that bounce already, and then I started adding some more things, so like some kicks and claps, like
है वो करता लोफर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता मेरी बुराई ऊपर आएगी तो भाग जा दिन तेरे जब मर जाएंगे तो मार खा काटे को काटो तो मछली भी फंसती है आदमी.
Then I had this little rim, which is like nice little.
सुपर में करता तो नंबर का धंधा गोबर है मुंह जो मन है वो करता लोफर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता मेरी बुराई ऊपर आएगी तो भाग जा दिन तेरे जब मर जाएंगे तो मार खा काटे को काटो तो मछली भी फंसती.
And what was that last thing that you added?
After that,
mentioned?
I started making the hi-hats.
Oh, okay. And it may be even more valuable if you.
A little rim shot, actually.
Okay, I was gonna say that if you could mute the vocals, because the beat. You know what I mean? We wouldn't need the vocals at this stage. Yeah.
Really. I've never heard that before. Mute the vocals.
I'm sure the rappers are like, "Nah, man, what the hell, bro? Don't mute the vocals." But the producers are like, "Wait a second. You're right." Stupid Beats has a question like, what VST did you use for the flute?
What VST did I use for the flutes? I used Basic Contact, actually. Basic Contact Factory Library is what I used for this entire thing. I didn't really have too many sounds. So if you go to Contact 5, I think the old Basic Contact Library, if you go in there, you can go to Orchestral, and then you can go to VSL Orchestral. And that's where I started to get I found the flutes, I found the flute, I found the oboe. It's very basic factory sounds. It's nothing really like special, actually. It's what comes with Contact as soon as you, like the free version of Contact. It's actually completely free, like, I think.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. But the rim shot, and the drums, usually I get my drums off of Reddit. I go onto Reddit and I type in drum kits. And there you'll find all the drums you need, you know what I mean? So...
Sick.
It's very simple. Sometimes if you want some good drums, you got to pay for them. If you know any good producers on Instagram, a lot of them are just selling like dope drum kits, their own sound. Sometimes I'm actually working on my own drum kit as well. Because I know I'm starting to develop my sound. So I'm like starting to develop my own 808s and my own drums and my kicks and my snares and the things that I usually use. So
hell yeah,
you can buy those as well. But most of the time, you can find stuff on Reddit. Like if you really want to produce, you can do it. Everything's out there.
Sick. Another major key.
Yeah. So that was a little rim shot that I threw in there. And then one thing I used to do a lot. This actually comes from the jazz side of me. I used to so a huge part of jazz is the ride, and like a lot of ride cymbals have sizzles in them, like rivets. So it gives you a nice little sizzle sound.
Right.
So at the time, I never like knew how to EDM was with like a riser and like EDM what noise. I was never a big fan of that stuff. So I found like a sizzle ride sample, and let me see if you guys can hear. Maybe really low in the mix, but it gives a little come again. So it's just like a little ride symbol, so that gives me a little crash.
Nice.
And then I wanted to add some more percussion to it. So I think I added like some of these trill hi-hats. Let me play with the actual hi-hats so you know what it sounds like. And like hi-hats are really simple as well. They're just like 16th notes all the way, and every second note I put the velocity down. So if you look at the hi-hat over here, you can see the volumes are changing. So the first one's really big, the second one's like way smaller. So I was just messing with velocities to get that natural as if like a real drummer is playing. You know what I mean? Like playing the hi-hat. So just to get that vibe, so you know how that sounds with the 808s, hi-hats, and the rim. You know, I'm gonna put those in the trill hi-hat that we just heard. That's what this sounds like.
Damn, that's like a remix in itself.
That's true. No, actually, when I was going through some of these, like I found a whole other version for the song. I'm like, oh, I should actually like, it's fun, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then let's see, with the clap and the kick. So that's pretty basic. But then I wanted to add one more thing to it, one more element to it. So I added this. I don't know if anyone noticed this in the song at all, but it's this little scream. I don't know if it's a monkey screaming or if it's like a horror. I think it's a horror scream. You know, like from the movie like Psycho, like one of those. Like,
yeah, I did notice that one, but very like it's very mild, right? It's a very background. But can you play that again? Like, let's hear that shit again.
Yeah. I didn't take any attention away from the vocals, so I kept it really back in the mix. I only used it like as when I use that cymbal, you know, it comes in every start of a section, you know what I mean, or every time a section repeats itself.
Nice.
But like all together, that sounds like this. And then once I put the flutes in, it sounds like this. Yeah, so
you know, I'm really liking this. You know,
as
even
it opens up, you know, so that lower one.
Yeah, I was gonna add that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was gonna add that. I really like this beat, even without anything else. Like, just the percussions sound like so sick, especially in my headphones. It's like, it's crazy.
Hey, hell yeah. No, yeah, man. Like, I don't know. The beat was pretty simple. Like, usually I do more on beats. At least at the time when I was making beats like more intricate than this. But like, they were on their way, and like I was just making this, you know, really quick. And I remember when I made it, like I'm like, yo, this is a banger. I posted it on my Instagram story. I'm like, yo, like anyone wants this beat? And like 2 hours later, they had come to the house and recorded it. I'm like, oh, the beat's gone. It was funny.
That's hilarious. So okay, so what's next?
Like,
what are you gonna do with it? Stupid Beats asks, do you boost the velocities of your 808s?
No, actually, I kept them where they were. I didn't really mess with them.
Cool.
Sometimes I do, but like,
not on this
if I don't want the 808 to sound like way too loud, I'll pull it down. And like, actually, here's a tip: if you don't push it all the way up, always, and then you can do it sparingly, and you can make an effect out of it, as opposed to, you know, because if you do it always, then you can't pull it down. But if you keep it like 90%, and then for the chorus you can boost it to 100, you'll get a little bit more bounce, you know. So
nice.
It's all about revealing. Like, music is just revealing, because like this whole beat is very simple. It's just like it's just 4 bars, you know. It's very, very simple, but like the arrangement is like the key in revealing different aspects, you know what I mean? If you play everything at once, think of it this way: like, if you don't want to just eat a whole meal, you take small bites. You take an appetizer. You know, it's like a huge thing. You don't just go for dessert right in the beginning. You know, you want to get the savory stuff in first. Get your tongue. You know, get a bunch of different like feelings. You know.
Right.
So
right.
That's how I work my beats as well. Like, even with the kicks, I don't usually add my kicks until the second half of the verse. Because 808s are good enough to give the emotion, you know what I mean, and the bounce. And sometimes even if you take away the kick, everyone's expecting a kick, so don't put a kick in. You know what I mean? It's like same way with like snares and stuff. Everyone's expecting snares. Don't use a snare. Like, just do what everyone like is everyone's not expecting me to do. Like that's
Hell
that's what makes it cool, I feel. But like yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing with this beat, and like it's really like the arrangement, you know, it's all in the arrangement. Like I'm switch up the arrangement right now, and I'll show you what like how cool it could sound. Like it could sound like a different song if it's like, let's put these vocals on.
करता 2 नंबर का धंधा गोबर है मुंह जो मन है वो करता लोफर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता मेरी बुराई ऊपर आएगी तो भाग जा दिन तेरे जब मर जाएंगे तो मार खा काटे को काटो तो मछली भी फंसती है आदमी तो नकली पर पसली तो असली है तोड़ूंगा मोड़ूंगा खोपड़ी भी फोड़ूंगा घुटने को लेके गर्दन से
मिली मुझे तरह की चपाते लिखा सड़क की कलम और दुनिया में दिखता नहीं फर्क भी मैं अलग ही सोच लेके जीता अपनी जिंदगी सच्चाई सुनना चाहता अपना सेना गंदगी पैसों के नशे में दुनिया सारी भंडी क्या फायदा उस चीज का जो होने वाला फंड भी कर्म करता जाता और नकलियों का डर नहीं फंड इस
I mean, it sounds dope alone without without any of the drums. It still sounds cool. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's just a melody. It creates a bed. You know what I mean? For the main thing, what I did with this beat also, I didn't really add any like top line. There's no top line in the beat. There's no like percussive like melodic bell.
Right.
Or like ding ding like ding 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 ding. I didn't make it harsh. You know what I mean? It's very soft with the flutes. It's very like. You know, like a lot of dynamic in there. So that gives like some space for the vocalist to add his crazy attacking vocals, you know, because rap vocal has a lot of, it's really like attacky. It's like ta 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 ta, you know, it's like very fast and
right, especially with MC Altaf.
Oh man, I don't know how he did it this fast. It's so fast. Like I'm surprised. Like it's really fast. I'm gonna play this worse. It's crazy how fast.
तेरे जैसे दर्जन है रातों में
मिली मुझे तरह की चपाते लिखा सड़क की कलम और दुनिया में दिखता नहीं फर्क भी मैं अलग ही सोच लेके जीता अपनी जिंदगी सच्चाई सुनना चाहता अपना सेना गंदगी पैसों के नशे में दुनिया सारी भंडी क्या फायदा उस चीज का जो होने वाला फंड भी कर्म करता जाता और नकलियों का डर नहीं फंड इस बीट में दुनिया की फिक्र नहीं मैं करता किल साइलेंस सीधा वार पर जिक्र नहीं कान तेरे फटफड़ाते सुन के मेरा की तभी बार बार पास करता स्किल मेरी हर गली में हूँ वही जो ना कभी देता तुझे फक भी साइकेडेलिक सीन करते हम सना मिले कहीं कलाकारी अपनी जारी इसमें कोई नशा नहीं जो करना चाहे खोटी अपने चाल में फंसा हुआ वाइब से ही लूंगा तेरे लिए है सजाई है ही
wasn't it?
Violence
This part
is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how this part came up. Like I remember they were just rapping. Like I think they had this song like written like a while ago. Because like I had heard some people tell me that this is MC Altaf like had written WAZAN HAI. It's one of his first songs, but like he chose to do it on this beat. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, if he wrote that song a while ago and he waited for the right beat. Right. I'm lucky to have made the right beat in that case. But like, but it seems like they have had like D'Evil and Altaf had the song. At least I don't know, because like at least when they had it ready, you know, like when they were here to record, it was pretty ready. So it was really nice. It was very quick to record. It was like. They knew what they wanted. Like I knew what the beat was done already. So it was just a matter of tracking and recording. And like this section in the song, this violence part, I honestly don't remember how that happened. Like I think like they didn't want to put another hook, or I mean Altaf wanted to do more stuff. You know what I mean? He wanted to do like another verse. So like I think they found a good way to connect it somehow. And at the time, I didn't know any Hindi. I still don't know a lot of Hindi, but like I didn't know anything they were saying. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was a yes man to everything, and I just like did a bunch of stuff. And,
that makes sense.
I made the whole overseas album. I didn't even know what anyone said on the album. It's bad. Like they could have said like bad stuff. They could have been whack rappers also. I wouldn't know. I just went for like the flow. You know what I mean?
They could have just been rapping like, yo, I got this producer Akash. I hate him, and you wouldn't know. You'd be like, oh, nice shout out,
I would have known
Thank
if
you.
they did.
No,
probably sneak this in my own album. Who knows? But I actually like it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, that's
everything
awesome.
worked out. I think that's the whole magic of it, because like because I didn't know anything about vocals, about Hindi at all. You know, like it's not as a producer or as a beat side of it. Like I'm not the rapper, so like I can't really tell a rapper, yo, say this or don't say that. You know, and it's always better that I don't know what he's saying. It lets him do his job. And he doesn't know what I'm doing. Like the rappers aren't as good producers as producers are rappers. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I agree. Like,
you know,
that's a major key. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the major keys. I don't
know how that works out.
I feel like keeping your mind fresh to things, and questioning it is better than like going into things like, hey, I know what I want. Like, let's just do the things the way I want it. But in this collaborative environment of making music, it always has to be a certain like respect for the other person to like do what they're doing. Even if you don't get it, it doesn't matter. Like, it all ends up together like a good collaborative effort. That's awesome.
If that happens when the vibes are right, because sometimes like it's difficult, because like I'm very like I'm a perfectionist when it comes to music, and it's not good. It's a bad thing, because if I wasn't a perfectionist, I'd release a lot more music by now. You know what I mean? But like, it's pretty interesting the fact that I like working with people on the album. I've definitely told them, yo, like, don't say it like that. Try a lower hook. Try singing it. It's crazy thing on my album. You hear like 7 Bantais singing. You'll hear like Ace singing. Like I made everyone sing on the album. It's crazy. Like, but it was dope to just like it's nice that they were willing to go that extra, like take that risk, and try it out. And like, luckily, I was able to like tweak their vocals and I see to make it sound good. I think that's why the album sounds a little different. Like everyone's songs like on their own music sounds away, but when you hear them on an Akash beat, it sounds completely different. And like, I think that has to do with my perfectionist like bullshit. The fact that I'm like, how you said, it's not, you should be open to collaboration. Like sometimes I am, but like there's lanes, like if it's my song, if it's my album, like, yo, like I have the right of way. You know what I mean? If it's your song and it's your album, I definitely will give you the right of way, because you know what I mean? It's just that if as long as you understand that approach to collabs, then it goes up really well. But like always, sometimes like I remember having a couple of sessions like bad, like I had like 2 bad sessions where like I made something, but like what the artist was doing, I was not feeling it, and he didn't understand why I wasn't feeling it, and I understood why he wanted it, but like I still didn't want it, and like just like things like that. And then at that point, you just have to say, okay, cool, not this song, let's do another one, and like don't let that beef fester and go into other problems, because then it ruins your career. It's not cool. It makes you depressed, and you don't make good music, and you have no friends and all that stuff. That stuff happens.
That's right. That makes a lot of sense. Man, so with this beat, like, what did you do next?
Well, actually, what I was doing, I remember when they were recording, D'Evil wanted to like, he said he's going to do the first verse. So they started with this little like intro thing.
थोड़ा अलग ऐसा वॉइस ही चेंज करने लगा सीधा.
So I don't know what he's saying completely, but like I think he says like, "Yo, I listen to how he changed my voice" or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's what he's saying. Look, he screwed up my voice too. That's amazing. Like he was kind of like laughingly saying that.
he said he screwed up.
Not screwed up, like, oh, he changed it. Yeah, he changed my voice. Like, oh, look how it's changing my voice. Haha. Something like that. It's funny that I'm having to translate this to you.
Yeah, I'm hearing it for the first time a year later. That's crazy. But like, no, yeah. So like the little moments like that, I just kept it rolling, and like I had autotune on because that was my way, and they weren't really used to like doing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or maybe they were, but like I don't know. Apparently, D'Evil was like surprised by the sound of his voice. So I captured that moment. I just had that, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's keep this going. Let's not remove it, because that adds some character. So started off with that. I do that in a lot of my beats. Just add some character.
MC Altaf D'Evil Bombay शहर से.
क्या बोलते धवल भाई?
Straight up, है ना?
हाँ भाई.
D'Evil कौन? एक नंबर ये बंदा, सुपर में करता 2 नंबर का धंधा. गोबर है मुंह, जो मन है वो करता. ऊपर से जो करता कुछ भी बन सकता. मेरी बुराई ऊपर आएगी तो भाग जा, दिन तेरे जब भर जाएंगे तो मार खा. कांटे को काटो तो मछली भी फंसती है. आदमी तो नकली पर फसली तो असली है. तोड़ूंगा मोड़ूंगा खोपड़ी भी फोड़ूंगा. घुटने को लेके गर्दन से जोड़ूंगा. कीड़ा करूंगा पीड़ा भी दूंगा. पीड़ा तो सुला के ढीला कर दूंगा. शैतानी बुद्धि परेशानी खुद की बेजानी सपने करेगा. मैं कोई भी पीछे नहीं देखने का. रास्ते पे चलते जा, जैसे तू पलटेगा वैसे कुछ चलकेगा. वजन है.
Yeah, man. I remember like when I was doing D'Evil's verse, I remember he didn't want any auto-tune. Any rapper I work with, they never want auto-tune because they haven't practiced it enough. It's not their sound. Now, I understand that artists have their own sound. Sometimes they don't necessarily want auto-tune. But as a producer, you need to know that like you can still do that, but sneak it in there and do it less before they hear it, and then and then when they may like it, they just don't know it yet. So you try it out, and then you ask them, "Yo, is this cool?" And if they still feel it's wrong, then yeah, definitely remove it. So like I'd put autotune on D'Evil's vocals and on Altaf's, but it's really low, and no one I just it glues the song together, because at the end of the day, like everything's a melody. The song is in a certain key. You know what I mean? And like even the vocals that my talking voice has some melody to it. You know what I mean? So like, it's just different. It's not always good. It's not always bad. It's just this is a decision. But that's usually what I do in all my things, because I'm a melodic guy by blessing and curse, so I don't know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. A question I have for you is like, do you mix the beat like separately from the song, or like when number one, wait, I'm sorry, I have too many questions in my head.
Yeah.
I'll start with one question. Number one, do you mix the songs yourself, or do you send it to like another person to do that?
I mix everything myself.
Okay.
I record everything myself. I have a very like basic home studio setup. I'll show you. I can't move around the mic right now, so I can't really show you. But like I have like a AKG414, which is like a nice condenser mic. It's a good like entry level professional mic, AKG414. So I have that mic. We used to use that in college a lot. So like I know that mic, and it's expensive, but it's not the most expensive. It's like the cheap expensive one. So I went for that one, and like I got the main thing that really helped me is the Chaotica eyeball. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's like a mobile vocal booth. So like it's like a little eyeball. 1 second, I got it. 1 second.
Okay. So he's gonna show us his little vocal booth. It's a mic booth, but it's mobile.
Yeah, so show and tell.
Show and tell.
So this is a Chaotica eyeball. For those who
Can you
don't
full
know,
screen that one real quick?
You guys can see it. It's just like a little. It's thanks. So there's a hole in the bottom where the mic can go into. This is my mic, so I put that in there, and this is like a little pop filter, so you pretty much wrap into here, and it takes out a lot of the room sound, a lot of the resonance and a lot of the like reflections, especially in this room. It's not really treated. The ceiling is completely blank. I have a glass, on this side. There's a window over here. There's like a cupboard over here, fully reflective. The floor is tile. It's a really bad place, but this thing saves the day. You know what I mean? And it doesn't do the whole job. You still have to be a good like engineer to know how to take away some of the bad frequencies. But it makes your job way easier.
Yeah, that's sick. So you recorded the whole Overseas album and every other songs with that thing, right? What is it called again?
Yeah. It's called Eyeball. It's by the company called Chaotica. Chaotica is the company.
Nice. Okay, that's another major key. So rappers, producers, go cop that, man. That's gonna add value to your home studios out there.
Yeah, and like there's like other companies that make a cheaper version of it, but like try it out. There's nothing wrong if you can make this also yourself. It's it's doable. Like
that's true.
There's nothing wrong. DIY audio is the best way.
Yeah.
Like,
Stupid Beats. Stupid Beats has a question. How do you mix to sound it perfect? Like it's not like two audio clips just layered.
EQ. So like if there's certain sounds that like the two layers that you have, if like in these flutes, right? I didn't really do anything to the flutes, but like say I have like a guitar and there's a lot of low end in the guitar, I'll take the low end off the guitar, and if I'm adding another guitar with highs, like I might keep the low end on that. You know what I mean? It's just choosing. There's no right or wrong, and if you try different combinations, and if you shape, like there's only a limited amount of space for frequencies, and as you keep adding different sounds, they're going to take up that space. So the only way to create space for vocals is to carve out frequencies using your equalizer. And equalizer, you can that's it's meant to shape. It's called a shaper volume. It shapes your audio, so you can make things sound more or more like more muffly. You can change. If you have a nasal sound like you can get that nasal sound out. Also, right now, like based on the reflections, so like a lot of times I get a lot of low reflections, like if you want to get technical, from 250 to 500 hertz. And I usually end up like taking that down because I hear that in the room. Even now when I'm talking, I hear a lot of this reflection. And like, so it's just a bunch of, it's just a bunch of shaping is how you make things sound cleaner. And there's different ways to shape. You can shape through EQ, you can shape through compression, you can shape through multi-band compression, which is compression at different frequencies. It's just a bunch of different ways to do it, and there's no one way to do it. That's a beauty of it. You know what I mean? That's why we have different sounding music and different sounding albums and artists, is because there's no standard. You know what I mean? And that's like the beauty of the whole game.
That's sick.
Otherwise, we'd all be robots. It would just be classical music. No
Yeah,
one likes
we
classical
all
music.
sound the same.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
so with
classical
this,
music's dope. Just classical musicians are bored.
man, I know a few of them, and you're right. Okay, okay. With this beat, what's next? Is there anything else that you did with it, or is this pretty much at the end stage of it?
No, it's pretty much done. Like I've played a lot of Altaf. I mean, Devil's verse. Let me play Altaf's verse just so you guys can see if I. Yeah, I'm not too sure if I did anything else in here. Let's see what's.
वायलेंस नहीं चाहिए, अपने को शांति चाहिए.
आते बीट पे फिर से करते ग्राइंड शाने हिटते अभी आया अपना टाइम गाने लिखते ना करते कोई भी क्राइम मंजिल सीधी छोटे दे दे.
Yeah, that's actually something I just did. I didn't have it on the original. I wish I did it on the original. It's like it's something I do a lot more now in my beats. It's called beat drops. So like I make chops in the beat. Like you'll hear it on this. If you see over here, there's no information here where there would be a clap and snare in this area. I deleted everything, so it sounds like this.
से करते ग्राइंड शाने हिटते अभी आया अपना टाइम गाने लिखते ना करते कोई भी क्राइम.
So just those little like beat drops and those cuts make a huge difference in dynamic. Because like the beat's already done. It's very boring, but like it's not. I mean, it's dope, but like if you listen to the same loop with no changes, you won't make. It's not a song. It's just a beat on a loop. So how you make it a song is through arrangement, and how you arrange things is by introducing, revealing things, at certain times, putting them back in, you know what I mean? Taking them out, putting them back in, things like that. And that's pretty much what a beat, like when you do beat chops, that's like the ultimate way of like tension, because you have this huge music at this level and it just cuts off like out of nowhere. And then, so like you're almost like left off a cliff and then you pull it back on that big, it's almost like if you play GTA, when you take a little jump and you're jumping off and and you land, you know what I mean? Like, because no one does it in real life. No one's doing those car shit in real life. But like, yeah, GTA.
That's right. That's another major key, man. Like that's sick. I'm counting these. These will be a little clip, on Instagram. So.
It's pretty much dynamics. Like dynamics is everything. Music is at the end of the day, it's all volume. Everything is volume. Like. And what is volume? Volume is air. Like it's just like a pressure. It's an air pressure. It's a sound pressure level. So like sound only exists because there's air. So it gets really deep and all scientific. I'm glad I was good at physics because it makes it like maybe that's why I'm a decent audio engineer. But like I forgot where I was going.
No, it's all good. I like it. Cool.
Yeah, man. But like this beat's pretty much done. I was talking about dynamics. Yeah, like it's dynamics, man. Because like everything is volume. Like I said, everything is volume because even EQ is just volume at a certain frequency. Like if you're just taking out a certain frequency, you're reducing the volume. So the first step, when you come, like I've been teaching a lot of like musicians just recently because I've been dealing with like they send me stems and I mix it, and then we make a beat of it. But like if they send me wrong stems where it's like the music is way too loud, you know what I mean? Like way too loud. I can't really deal with it. Like right now, you see these stems are kind of loud. Actually, let me pull it down. Actually, they're not loud. They just look loud, but like they're hitting at -10, -12. I make sure my stems like don't like peak. Like there's a little range here, -18 to -12. So like everything that I'm recording fits in that gap. And then later on, when I layer them all together, my master will come to 6 because of that. And then once my master is at 6, which is my mix, my mix is at 6. And then when I master, I can push that up to, -1. You want to be -1 for streaming platforms because Spotify messes that up. but like otherwise it can be 0. minus 0.1. It's a very, very technical mastering details. It's a whole other conversation. But like
I like
it's all
it, though.
dynamics.
It's
Everything
valuable.
is volume. Everything is volume. Like and it's how you choose to introduce. The whole thing about like beats though is like introduction and revealing things. I've noticed, because like if you don't leave a kick in until later, like when you feel the kick, it's a whole different feeling than if you heard the kick in the start. You know what I mean? And like there's a certain magic to it. So
right. That's
this stuff.
अभी आया अपना टाइम गाने लिखते ना करते कोई भी क्राइम मंजिल सीधी छोटे दे दे थोड़ा साइड मेरे लोग मेरे साथ खड़े एनी टाइम कलाकारी भारी मेरी सबसे हैवी भाई क्यों लड़ाई मैं भी भाई तू भी भाई सब भाई एक तो फिर रंग जैसे खुल जाए इनके कर्म खोटे सोचते हैं सिर्फ खुद की आज एक जीव नष्ट कल सबकी बारी होगी एहसास कर इंसाफ रख और काले मन को साफ करके ये दुनिया धर्म के बाजार पर वजन है बातों में वजन है बातों में
I actually have I think D'Evil does this on like a bunch of his tracks. He does some crazy ad-libs every time. Like, we were done with the song, but then like he was like, "Yo, I want to do some ad-libs." I'm like, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? D'Evil definitely he's got some crazy.
Yeah.
When it works, gives you that nice like.
बातों में वजन है
Sing this at the end.
वजन है बातों में वजन है बातों में वजन है बातों में वजन है
Yeah, you know,
so like that's pretty much the beat.
that's a sick beat, bro. Like the thing is with this beat, is like every time you hear it, no matter what part of it you hear it, your head goes like this. Like this is like the normal feeling that a listener has. And when you have that feeling with the listeners, you are successful with your song. So props to you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's crazy because like this when I remember when I made this beat also, like I thought that I had made better beats, you know. I didn't think this was like my best beat or anything. But like it's definitely my best song. You know what I mean? It's crazy how that's happened so far.
Yeah, you know, in life sometimes the simplest things are the best things, you know. So if this beat is simple and you know not too complicated, that's what makes sense to me. Yeah.
The crazy part about this, like as soon as the song was done, like I was listening to it in the rickshaw and stuff. I remember like, yo, this is a cool song. But then I heard like YBN Corday release a song similar to this. I'm like, yo, man. I feel bad because like I mean I didn't feel bad. I kind of felt good because like I felt like I was on the same level universally, that I was on the same like, you know, like I'm on the same collective, like collectively we're all on the same path.
Wavelength, energy.
Like and YBN is releasing like this, that means I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? So like I started to like, you know, I ran with that and like I'm like, cool, if I can do this, I'm gonna continue doing this in different ways. And that eventually it led to overseas because like after meeting Altaf and stuff, we had that song done. I think I'd gone to CAD 11, Control Alt Delete. It's a music festival here in Bombay.
Yep.
Where like it's I think it's fully like it's a donation based festival where like it's completely crowdfunded. You know what I mean? And they have a huge like hip hop stage over there. And I actually met Jay Killa. It was the first person that I ever met in hip hop in India. Like I'd met Jay Killa. And at this festival, Jay Killa is a dope rapper from New York. He lives in India now for the past 3 years, actually. And when I was talking to him, I'm like, yo, you've been here for like, what, 2 years? I just got here. He's like, yeah, man. Like, and now it's funny, I'm here for 2 years.
Yeah, he did that song, Running Through Mumbai, with Illa on your album Overseas.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs
no,
out there. Definitely.
That song's still a banger. It's still getting a lot of streams.
For
it's
sure.
Still like one of the hits off of Overseas.
It makes sense.
Illa's
verse was
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Illa is another level. You know, like he's got his auto-tune. He really knows how to like use auto-tune, and he's an audio engineer as well. So he knows how to like compress his vocals nicely, and he has his own sound. You know, and like
sure does.
Yeah, it's really nice. Sometimes it's good to have people like those who know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So it makes it very easy, like to collab. You know what I mean?
100.
But like, yeah, I had met Jay Killa, and Jay Killa had actually told me like, yo, you should listen to Side Mott. You should listen to these guys. This guy Says on the beat. He makes dope beats. You should listen to this guy Says on the beat. He told me, oh, you should, check out those guys, Dopadelics. They're like, Jay Killa was the guy who actually introduced me to all the rappers and stuff. And like, I was like, yo, cool. I felt like a headhunter. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna talk to that guy. I'm gonna play them my beats. I actually used to like, I don't know if I don't have the speaker anymore. I think I lost the speaker, but I have this like, I made the entire like album on like a really tiny Bluetooth speaker, like this size, like really tiny. It's smaller than my hand. It's like I when I was producing the beats, like I didn't really have like speakers or anything. Even right now, my monitors, I don't have monitors. I have like a home system, home theater system with the two parts of the home theater system. So I don't really have a good mixing setup or a good production setup. But if you know your space and if you work on it enough, you know how good music's supposed to sound on your setup, and you can make your music sound that good. And it's just a matter of knowing your system. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, like I made that entire album on like Bluetooth speaker, and I remember I brought the CAD. I was playing people like demos from that. I'm like, yo, like check out this beat. If you like this beat, we should do something. And like that's how I met Ace. That's how I met Dopadelics. It was really cool. And recording like the Dopadelic song, that's a whole other live. We can have a whole other live just doing that song. That's a crazy song.
Yeah.
That was my first time in Down. You know, it was so cool. Like going like not having the not knowing where I was going into. I'd actually gone with a keyboard and a mic stand and all this mic, and like Rack from Dopadelics, he was like, or Dope Daddy, he was like, yo, come inside really quick. You may get raw. What do you? I you know, I was full fancy. I had like a gold chain on. I was an all black hat, like had my hat on. I was full hip hop gear. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
like, yo, you need to come inside.
That's hilarious. Oh man, that's sick, man. You know, I'm reading a lot of questions over here from the audience, and Kichu Beats.
I can see the questions.
Yeah, sorry, say that again.
Is there a way I can see the questions, or can I not see the question?
I thought you could see it on your dashboard, but if you can't, it's on the screen right now. It's a Kichu Beats asks like, how do you arrange beat? How do you arrange beat, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, or how does it go for you? I don't think there's a set way, right? Like you arrange it in the best possible way for the song. Can you hear me?
Oh, 1 second. I think I pressed something.
Oh,
I can hear I pressed something. Okay, how do you arrange the beat, verse, chorus? So I'll tell you how I arrange really quick. I started with an intro, 8-bar intro. If you want to go to the screen sharing, I can show people really quick. So like 8-bar intro. 8-bar intro. And then I do like 12. Usually I do like 12-bar or 16-bar verses, depending on the artist. Sometimes the artist wants to do 8. Sometimes the artist wants to do 12. Sometimes they want to do 16. Depending on the kind of song, if it's a boring song, you probably don't want to hear like a lot of rap. You want the song to get over fast so you can have good replay value. So in that case, I keep it 8 bars. But if it's a song where the artist is really spitting, you know, like I'm like, yo, you need to put another bar on here, you know, another 4, another 8, you know. So like, it goes to 12, 16 sometimes, and like, so that's usually what I do. So I have like 8-bar over here, then I have like, so that's another 8 over here. Actually, I mean, my bad, it's 4. You know what I mean? 4, 8, same thing. But like, so it's one section here, and then like the verse repeats. So that's two sections of the verse. So then that's a whole verse right here is 8 bars. And then I do a little intro. I pretty much duplicate the intro again. I may add like another element to it, just to use as a pre-chorus. You know what I mean? And then drop it into the chorus, which is pretty much the verse with like maybe a kick and one more thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't really change any of my I don't really add a lot of sounds. I have I have all these sounds, and then I just like arrange them. I remove things. If I want a verse, I won't necessarily add something to make a verse. I'll just remove something, or I may change some notes in the existing pattern, or change the sound, or just substitute. You know, it's just all about substitution, as opposed to adding things. You know what I mean? Because if you add too many things, then there's no space for the vocalist to do anything, and you don't want that, because then you become
Right.
your beats. No one will like your beats. You just be making beats, and you be like
less
old
is
Akash,
more.
You want to be new Akash.
Less is more when it comes to production, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on the genre. Then, because you got like amazing
Makes
producers
sense.
like Says on the beat and Karan Kanchan who put like a lot of stuff in their music. Karan Kanchan's music has a lot of stuff in it as well. Like at least his like EDM music and his bass music, because it requires that. Says is a genius. I don't know how he does this stuff, because he has a bunch of layers, and he's just a genius. I'm trying to get on his level. So I'm still like I'm as curious as everyone is. But like yeah, like when it comes to like putting a lot of elements in a song, yeah, it definitely helps when it comes to the vocalist, but it depends on the artist. Maybe like artists want something like crazy. Like I know Ace, he did an album with Crazy Vibe called Under God, and like that's got some crazy songs in it, because it starts with like hip hop and then it goes to the crazy EDM flip.
Right.
And like the album is like every song has an EDM flip, and all the flips are like Crazy Vibe, one of the best producers. He made Chote Sun and like Hitman, and like a bunch of cool classics, and like actually we've been working on beats. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to collaborate with all the producers in India, you know what I mean? So like that way we build the whole producer community up, you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I love that.
But,
I love that.
Yeah,
and
the beat's pretty much done. Like the beat, that's pretty much the beat.
That's sick, man. Thank you for sharing this, bro. Like that was really cool, showing us the whole beat from start to end, and all the layers and all the different tidbits, all the little tips, all the stuff that you shared with us. That's really valuable for the viewers, as well as anybody who wants to be a producer. They're going to get a lot out of this. And in fact, that's why I'm doing this segment. Like what my plan is with this unfiltered podcast is that every month I'm going to have a producer one-on-one do something like this behind the beat, just to like inspire and teach and share that knowledge. So that's awesome. Thank you for being the first producer to do this.
He gets Says on some behind the beat, so I can learn his sauce as well, because you know what I mean. We're all trying to get better.
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Man, so let me ask you a question. Like in overseas, you had so many artists. Can you share a memory from one of those recording sessions? Like which one was like a crazy memorable recording session, that you had? Because there were so many talented people.
No, yeah, it's crazy like to think about it. But like when I think of the most memorable sessions, I definitely think of my Dopadelic session. Going to Dharavi, recording in like their home studio. Yeah. It was very different to what I'm used to. Like I'm used to AC and a fan. But there was no AC and fan, and it was really hot when we were recording, and everyone was sweating like crazy, and like it was a small booth, and it was amazing. It was a scene for a hit, you know what I mean? It was just like it was perfect. So like when they were, I think that's why the song sounds so raw and dirty and nasty. It's because we were just sweating so much at the time, and it was so hot. It was in the middle of summer, and in Bombay and Dharavi, it was like very, very hot, and pollution everywhere. Like because Bombay is fully polluted, so much pollution, except like now because there's no less pollution. But like it was crazy at the time. But that's definitely one crazy memory I had from overseas, just recording that song. And actually, that song it was the first song to get started and the last song to finish, because like they started getting really busy. They started doing a lot of like tours and like YouTube shows, and just getting them to like finish up the song. It started to be like a task, but like I was persistent. Like I emailed them every week. Every week I would just message like, yo, come on, yo, are you guys free? And it even got to the point where like I started going to shows just to like meet with them. It's like, yo, man, you guys, I was really hungry at the time.
Nice.
I was really pushing myself, and now that I look back, like it was really good that I did that.
Right.
It would be impossible to do that right now. You just have to email everyone. Like it's crazy.
Right.
Or
Yeah, that hunger and that hustle is so important to succeed with whatever you want.
Yeah, man. And you can't lose it, because as soon as you lose it, then it goes away, and then everyone else is just going to get better at you. Like, that's the best part about this whole like. Even if someone's on top now, they're going to fall off like soon enough. You know what I mean? Like, so just be ready. Everyone just be like, I may be doing I still haven't made it yet. So like, I'm not going to fall off at the moment. Like, well, I'm sure once I make it, I'm gonna get a little like lazy for a little bit, and like once that happens, there's 10 other people who are waiting in line. You know what I mean? Already, like when I go live and like I do beat submissions and stuff, people send me beats. All their beats are like a lot better than my beats, but like it's just interesting. You know what I mean? Like, and then I have to find ways like, yo, man, this is what the competition is. Cool. I need to like, I need to get them on and collab with them. You know what I mean? So that way I get better. They like get what they want as well because they want to work with me, and like I want to get better, so I work with them. You know, it's at the end of the day, like if everyone just collabs, especially producers, if producers just collab all the time, it'll be a whole game. Because there's only like 10 producers here in India who are like really dope, and like just hit them up if you want to work with Raftar, like hit up Raftar's and like producers. If you want to work with Altaf, hit up people who produce for Altaf. You know what I mean? And like it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Like, but don't just hit them up like, yo, you want to work? And like, I don't want to work with you if I don't know you. You know what I mean? You may have dope music, but like, if I there's no energy involved, I can't really like commit my energy to it. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, that's a
like,
key.
That's how most people work. So like, don't just DM people like, yo, I got this dope beat. Like you got to ease your way into it. It's like dating. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And yeah, man. And
it's
like,
about building that relationship.
I'm only able to say this. Yeah, man. I'm only able to say this now because like I've been through like I remember when like 2 months ago I was sending out emails, just sending emails, but like my emails were too big. I was sending WAV files. People don't want to hear like you know when you don't want to just take a huge steak and eat it. You want to have a bite of it. You know what I mean? You want to have bite size at a time. And if it's dope, okay, cool. I'm gonna eat this thing. You know, if it's something new to you, you want to taste it first and then go for it. So in the same way, like I was giving people just packs of 30 packs of beats. Like no one's gonna listen to any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like all WAV files, if they're not easily downloadable, you can't just open the email and click it. I realize only now, after doing these live sessions, having people send me beats, I'm like, yo, I should not be doing those things. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So it's pretty interesting. Like,
yeah,
so
knowledge is power.
To all the other producers, take it slow.
Yeah.
To definitely take it slow. Like, be very hungry. I'm hungry for fruits and smoothies and workouts every morning. I do that. That's the first thing I do. And then I make music all day and I mix. And then I post stuff on my Instagram. If people like the beats, that's dope. You know, you got to stay active on Instagram as well. And then, like today, I think I posted 2 beats, and like Altaf messaged me like, "Yo, let's do this one." And then I think MC Heem also messaged me like, "Yo, let's do this one." And now I got to make 3 beats of the same kind because 3 different artists hit me up for that. You know what I mean? So it's pretty interesting. So
that is really interesting.
It's just about doing the stuff every day and like being active.
Doing stuff every day.
You know, we're trying to do it like. If you're definitely trying to get some placements, because I know everyone's trying to get placements. I'm also trying to get placements. I realize placements is not like it's like money. You know what I mean? Like you don't go with the intention of like getting money. You do something because you do something, and money is a side product. You know what I mean? Because you did it well. Like for most business, and not for some aspects. There's definitely a business where money is the main key, and you go into it. But like if you're trying to do something, you're trying to make money. You work on making something dope, and the money will come to you. In the same way. With your beats, you just make your beats dope, make yourself dope, and then people will come to you for the beats. It doesn't matter if the beats are whack; they'll still come to you because you're dope. You know what I mean? So like, there's little ways of doing this. Like this whole music game is very different. It's not just like a commodity; it's also energy. You know?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with that.
Like better play it out.
Yeah,
but I don't want to ramble anymore.
No, you're good. We're close to wrapping up. I just wanted to. Okay, so Kichu Beats over here and also Stupid Beats had this question about your tag. Who is the source? What came up? How did it come up?
The infamous tag. I'm gonna put it in.
Okay.
Man, I wish I'd like thought of it that like when I did WAZAN HAI, it would have been crazy. But yeah, this is a tag really quick. I'm gonna play it really quick. So backstory on the tag. So one of my family friends, she used to always call me like Akash, like all the time, just because like Dil Chata Hai was a thing, and you know, and she used to like, yeah, my name is Akash, so she used to try and make fun and say that, and I thought it was always funny. I was just like ha ha ha, whatever. But like, I think when I was in like, I never really wanted to have a tag. I always thought having a tag was like conforming, you know, because I didn't want to conform. I wanted to just be a music, you know what I mean? But then eventually, like, I started brewing in my head like, yo, if I did have a tag, I could probably use the Dil Chata Hai line Akash. You know what I mean? That's a dope idea.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know it was Akash Ka Hai. I just thought it was Akash. You know, like because I was trying to find the Akash, but like every time I look for that, it was always with music. You know, in the movie, so I couldn't really take out that sound very easily.
Yeah.
So I watched the movie one more time. Like, yo, that's the spot. So I pull it out of the movie and put some reverb on it. Reverse the start. And it sounds like this.
आकाश कहाँ है?
Hell yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. People have been going crazy for the tag, man. People have been getting like I've seen Instagram pages where they've changed their bio to Akash Ka Hai. Like that's how much love I've seen from this tag. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like,
Facts, bro. I saw that too. Like in our comment section, I see that a lot. Like people just drop like Akash Ka Hai.
Man, hilarious. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Like, and it's so cool because like even says like the OG, he gave me the cosign. He was like, "Yo, Akash, your tag is one of the most like innovative things like any producer has done in India." I'm like, "Wow, man!" Says coming from you, that's amazing stuff. I'm like, it's like says on the beatboard. That says on the beatboard. That's a tag, and like,
right.
It's cool. Like, and like the thing I like most about this, I think I'm gonna start like making TikTok videos with this tag, or I started sending it out to people. I want this tag to be heard everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
definitely a cool vibe.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Any more questions?
Yes. Final segment. Okay, but before I get to that final segment, I wanted to quickly tell the people that you can use your QR code to hit up Applause over here and support this show and the artists on this show. So go ahead and do that. The next, this final segment. Okay, so usually this show, this Unfiltered podcast, is sort of like a setup, like a game show where we, play games and get to know each other better. But we didn't do that today because I didn't want to, distract from the actual topic that we were working on. But there is one segment that I really want your opinion on, and it's called Playlist Placement.
Okay. Playlist Placement. That's great.
So thank you. So this is a segment of the show that we call Playlist Placement, and we have so many playlists that we curate on Desi Hip Hop for Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So some of these and we listen to music all week, like all day. Like people send us shit for these playlists, so like we listen to them. We try to see where we can put things. But in this segment, I'd like to ask you, Akash, what are you listening to lately? And do you have any suggestions for playlists? It can be any genre, any song, whatever you're listening to right now. Just share with us.
Well, at the moment, I'm listening to this artist called. You want me to play the song? Is that what you're asking me?
No. Just share it with us, and we'll go find it later on. But yeah.
Well, what I've been listening to is J.I. I don't know if you heard of the artist called J.I. He's one of these dope artists from New York. He's crazy. His name is J.I. He makes like a lot of like his raps have a lot of soul in it. He talks about like the difficult struggles he's been through, and he talks about like the people who have done him wrong, and his music is very like very melodic, and the beats bang. So J.I. is definitely one artist everyone should be listening to, especially Indian artists. If you can rap like that, I'll make free beats for you. I'll mix, master. I'll do everything for free if you can rap like something on the level.
You guys heard it, man. He's gonna produce, mix, master a song if you can get inspired by J.I. So yeah, listen to J.I. guys.
Yeah,
man. That's Akash's recommendation.
That's the only person I want to say. I want to like. Oh yeah, I guess a playlist. So more people on the playlist. Definitely Party Next Door. Definitely Drake. Definitely. Let me pull up the Spotify really quick just so I see. I've been listening. Octavian. I've been listening to a lot of Octavian. He's like a UK artist. He does a lot of drill and like
sick. Man,
hip hop as well. He's like the of the UK people. People like to call him that, but I think he's Octavian of the UK. He's his own person.
Nice.
One person I really listen to a lot is Business Boy. He's a producer out of LA. Actually, he's from Milwaukee, but he lives in LA right now. But like, he's one of the best producers in the game. He's produced for like Rihanna, Party Next Door, Black, Lil Nas X, Sway Lee.
Sick.
I think he's done Elton John song as well. Mary J. Blige. He's definitely one producer I really, really look up to. He's got some dope dope music, dope sound. Him and his team, Theory as well, and another producer on the team, Theory. But like, yeah, man,
Sick.
everybody check out Business Boy. Check out Business Boy. It's BIZNESSBOI. Business Boy is dope. You check out his music, and then you'll see where my influences are as a producer and as a musician.
Sick. That was my next question for you. So you already answered that. I'm glad you did. I was going to ask you, who are your producer inspirations? So that's awesome.
No, I mean that's a modern day legend that I inspire, but that inspires me. But when I would think of other producers, my favorite producers are definitely Scott Storch, Dr. Dre, Wheezy, Turbo.
Hell yeah.
A lot of them guys as well. But when it comes to this production, Scott Storch and Dr. Dre, you know what I mean?
Sick. There you have it. I'm glad you shared that with us. One final question to you before we go. I'm so happy that you stayed for so long. This is an hour and a half episode. Man. I don't want to take any more of your time anymore, but just one last thing is just because there's so many producers watching, what is one good tip that you can give for a starting producer, to get started, to, follow their dreams as a producer? Can you give one tip? To help them get started.
One tip, well,
or whatever you want to say, just a little message, a message for the producers, for the up and coming guys.
Message for the producers. If you want to start producing, it's very simple. If you have a laptop, you're already better than most of the people that don't. If you got a laptop, that's dope. Go onto YouTube, learn everything off of YouTube. If you want to learn how to master, do it off of YouTube. Learn how to do everything yourself. That's one thing I wanted. Learn how to do everything yourself. Only then can you hire someone. Only then can you get to the point or good enough where you can hire someone to a manager or anything. Or let me take it back even to a deeper level. Say you're trying to be a dope producer. Well, you got to make the beats cool. You got to make the beats. Then you got to find the artist. You got to find the artist yourself. You got to mix him yourself. You got to make him comfortable enough to actually want to rap on your beats. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Right. I remember with me and Loka didn't want to work on any of my music for a long time, but then now we have an album coming out. It's how you it's how you approach the situation and how you take your time and have your patience, and don't be too at the end of the day, you can do everything yourself. We are all God's children. We are part of the universe. We're God ourselves. There's God within us also. So if we can manifest things from scratch, I think we have a great capability, and just take. You know what I mean? Yes.
We're having some interruptions here, but I think it's working now. Well, that's sick, man. I can't hear you for some reason. Wait, I think you muted yourself by mistake. Oh, you're
muted, bro.
Yeah, you're good. All good, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can. Awesome. Well, thank you, Akash, for joining us today, man. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all the advice, all the tips, all the major keys that you dropped. It was really valuable for me personally, and I know it was valuable for the viewers and listeners as well. Shout out to all the viewers.
I can't hear anymore. Thank you, Rap.
All right. Peace, bro. And also, shout out to all the viewers, the comments, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on everywhere. You can also listen to this on Spotify and everywhere else that you get podcasts. So every week we put it on Spotify. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining. I am your host, DJ Raf, right here. Support Akash. Support Akash on Instagram, Facebook, wherever else you can find him. Listen to his music on Spotify. AAKASH Ravikrishnan. You'll find him. Just search Akash. Thank you for joining us. This was a pleasure. I'll see you guys next week.
Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Woo!